lose yourself in a good book. The Bord Gáis Energy Book Club.
Now, last year, John and Fatty Burke won a Bord Gáis Energy Book Award for their best-selling Irelandopedia. So they're hoping to do the Dublin Scoop another award this year for their new book, Historiopedia.
Their latest offering is a beautiful book which documents over 10,000 years of Irish history, including everything from bloody battles to times of great change in the country, and even detailing the notable things invented in Ireland. Fatty and John Burke join us now to tell us more. Firstly, guys, congratulations on your second offering. And I guess it was off the back of the success of the first one.
Yeah, I think we were surprised with the reaction from adults and children for Irelandopedia. We wanted something that was Irish interest and that taught children lots about each county in Ireland. But when we saw the reaction and that people really loved learning about our country, that we decided let's do a second one and let's go into even more detail about Irish history.
Let me ask you about the duo and the relationship. Obviously, father and daughter. Okay, which came first? I would assume the stories came first, but it was you were approached about a project and then you said, oh, I know somebody who can actually write these up.
I dragged Dad out of retirement because I thought he'd work really well with me. So, yeah, I was approached to do Irelandopedia by Gill and Macmillan at the time. They're now called Gill Books. And they'd seen that I did lots of map illustrations. I was kind of working by myself, just lots of different projects, illustration projects. And they were like, oh, she'll be perfect to do this, book about Ireland, but we need a primary school teacher to do all the research and to do all the
And you went, funny, I have one of them at home.
He's
Did you take much convincing, John?
None whatsoever.
None whatsoever.
None whatsoever. It was a joy not to do it. And it was exciting as well. And you'll always learn something when you're doing some sort of research. I know I would have known a lot of the facts and so on. And similarly with the history, I've been teaching it all my life in primary school. But just doing it and making sure your facts are right, and then you're discovering little things that I didn't even know before. And yeah, it was exciting and enjoyable.
Lovely to do as a father-daughter project, because very rarely do you get to work with your dad on something.
Oh yeah, it's great. Like loads of my friends say that they wish that they had the amount of time that I get to spend with my dad, and we get to. Even I was out on Halloween and I was getting texts from Dad, and everyone's like, "Oh God, I wish I got to talk to my parents as much as you do."
And is he always right?
That's debatable. Yeah. No, yeah, we.
Has it brought you closer?
Big pardon?
So.
Has it brought you closer together, doing the projects?
I can't imagine us having not been so close.
Yeah. Yes, but it's strengthened
we always
the bond.
were. You see, Kathy and Shauna, her sister, went to my school that I was teaching in. So Janet was the one that was left out because Janet was working, my wife, and she was working, she had her own business. But I was with them almost 24 hours a day.
Okay.
And that was a big privilege as well. And I don't think they got
so
fed up with me.
You've always been close.
Did it really feel like a privilege when your dad is the teacher and the principal?
Did you not get grief? I know that the son of the headmistress in my primary school got an awful time.
I think I would be called a swat at last because I was staying back and doing my homework, and I was always, really well behaved. So I think that didn't help
John,
me.
can I ask you a question? And I mean this in the nicest possible way. Are you that sort of dying breed, a true pedagogue? Are you somebody who wanted to be a teacher, loved being a teacher, and has essentially that it's kind of your nature as well as your profession?
Very much so. I actually didn't realise how much I wanted to be a teacher until I started in my first school, which was in Rathfarnham. And I never realised just how much I loved it. And what I wanted then was to find a school where I could stay and put down my roots and see the children growing up, and then for them to send their children to my school and all of that. So Passage East in Waterford was where I put down my roots, and I was there
for a long time.
38 years in Passage.
Wow.
Yeah, I was 2 years before I went to Passage, but that's exactly what I wanted. And then to have my children being part of that as well. It's wonderful. I hope it isn't a dying breed. I hope there are still people that can get involved in their communities. You know, the things you do, being secretary of the hurling club or whatever it happens to be.
Playing a role in the community.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. But it's because it's your community and you want to make a difference. So, no, it was a privilege.
It is a huge responsibility. It's an almost sacred responsibility, John, when you think about it, because how you how you open their minds to, you know, that great big menu of life and world, it will in large part determine the paths they follow. Even just opening up their minds to the amount of paths that they can follow is a huge responsibility.
It is, and it's wonderful. It's a privilege because the parents are allowing you to do that. You know, they're opening it up for you, and they're trusting you. This is the huge thing.
If parents weren't lucky enough to send their children to be taught by you, John, they can benefit from this wonderful book, which I think, which is a joy, a beautiful gift for children for Christmas. But parents reading it will learn a lot as well, because you haven't dumbed down the information. You made it a lot of fun with the illustrations. But there isn't a person I know who wouldn't read this and glean a lot of information from it, John.
These are the kind of books that we got as Christmas presents. I'm not sure that they do that anymore, but I mean, those are the kinds of things, you know, a Guinness Book of Records or something about history, something that made history or a myth come alive for us. By the way, I meant to ask you, I have to ask you about Fatty.
Okay,
Because your name is Katie.
Kathy, actually.
Kathy, okay, right.
Yeah, so and on the front cover of the book, you'll see it says, John and Fatty Burke. So Kathy and Fatty rhyme, and while I was in college, we were all making our own websites and our portfolios and stuff before we graduated, and I wanted, you know, Kathy Burke to be Googleable, but you know, there's a very famous actress called Kathy Burke.
There is indeed.
Yeah, who, you know, famously was with Harry Enfield in all his programs. So she would always come up first, obviously. So I was like, no, I'm going to revert back to a nickname, and one of the nicknames I had as a child was Fatty. It was my older brother Jonathan would tease me, even though I was a little bone of a thing, but it rhymes with Kathy, so that's why.
By the way, where does the art come from?
Oh, I started getting tattoos when I was...
No, but I mean your gift for art.
Oh, right.
Is that from your daddy, your mum, or is it...
I don't know.
Your mum.
Your mum.
So it's really from Janet's side of the family. Her brothers were very much into shop front names and decorating shop windows and so on like that.
Well, you have a lovely style. It's a kind of a style that you instantly relate to.
Yeah, I think it's kind of has a little nostalgia in it, and I'm, you know, always been obsessed with colours and colour palettes. And
well, it is the history of Ireland and so much more actually than that.
Irelandopedia, Historiopedia. It's a set. It'd be a shame to break them up. So obviously, folks, get the two of them. Listen, we wish you all the very best.
Good luck at the Bolgash Energy Awards.
Here on Ireland M, we are delighted to sponsor the popular non-fiction category. The winners of the Irish Book Awards are decided by you, so you can cast your vote by logging on to the BGE IrishBookAwards.ie.
The nominees in the Ireland AM popular non-fiction category are Fat Chance by Louise McSharry, Adventures of a Wonky-Eyed Boy by Jason Byrne, Making It Up As I Go Along by the lovely Marion Keyes, Talking to Strangers by Michael Harding, and Pippa by Pippa O'Connor, and Mr. Pussy, Before I Forget to Remember by Alan Amesby and David Kenny. Good luck to all of the authors, and not just in our category, across the board on the night.
Lose yourself in a good book. The Bolgash Energy Book Club.